Hi, everyone. Welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot. Thank you very, very much for being here. So, where are we at in this crazy little world we live in? There are certain people within the Trump administration who feel that court orders don't apply to them. So that's an issue. You have people within the Trump administration and or, the special guy that hangs around and does really destructive stuff. As soon as they say a judge does something they don't like, what is the first thing out of their mouth? Well, that judge should be impeached. So this is sort of the battle and the fight that is going on in the United States right now. Because what you have is a party who has control of all three houses, right? Or three branches. So, you have people who are just bowing down, who are running scared, who are not going to, rock the boat. And they're the ones who are supporting the insanity, right? These are the Republicans who are absolutely not going to go against anything that Trump wants. Okay. So where does that leave the Democrats? Let's take a look and see if we can find out, shall we? They just don't have power. I mean, there's things that they can do just to muck up, right? Slow things down a bit. If it comes right down to it, they did not receive the vote in the previous election. I'm going to say it this way. There were not enough votes tabulated in a way that allowed the Democrats to achieve some sort of dominance somewhere within the government. So, this is a hard place to be in, right? Let's take a look and see, what are the Dems doing? What can they do? And how successful are they going to be? There we go. See if we can find any answer here. One more quick little shuffle. In fact, I heard some Democrats are actually suggesting when the new budget comes out, or I think it's March 12th or something, that they're going to basically force a shutdown of the government as a way to slow down the full-on sort of destruction that's going on. Right, here we go. Democrats response, current government. Democrats response, current government. Democrats response, current government. Here we go. Okay, let's start here. So you have the death card, you have temperance. All right. So what this is sort of talking about is the recognition that there needs to be a stop, right? There needs to be a course correction here with what has been going on. The problem is they are tempered. Okay. They are not able, Democrats are not able to push and move ahead because frankly, they don't have the clout. They can have all the best intentions of the world, but they don't have the numbers to stop what is going on. I mean, we say this all the time, right? Elections have consequences. And this one in particular has had some really big and significant consequences. So there is a recognition that things have spiraled out of control. In fact, in some cases, they really do sort of almost view it like the death of the Constitution. But they don't have They don't have the power. They don't have what it's going to take. Followed by the Magician and the Knight of or the Page of Pentacles. So they are doing what can be done within their purview, right? The things that they can do as government officials, as being part of the government. There is a lot of like sort of trickery, right, that is going on. And this is intentional, right? This like fire hose of stuff that just comes shooting out of the White House, out of Trump's mouth, or out of, Musk's. And what it's done is it's got the country spiraling, it's got government officials spiraling, because you don't know what the heck to pay attention to first, because there's 10 things coming at you all at once. Where they're going to have a little bit of leverage, at least, is when it comes to money. All right. So it may very well be that they are going to be able to gain some strength. It's going to take a lot of hard work. They need to be better at tapping into the emotional response of people who are scared, who are worried, who are panic stricken, horrified by what is going on. They're not yet reaching people on an emotional level. It's one of the things that, I don't know, the Democrats just consistently seem to struggle with, right? If there's one thing that we know that, 45 did really well, it was he got people all riled up. He zeroed in on the emotions that were the most easily triggered, right? Anger, fear, right? And that's where that momentum built. With the Democrats, they're still not at a place where they have gotten their messaging to a point where it is actually causing some significant shifts within people. People who didn't like Trump, well, they still don't like Trump, but it's the people who voted for Trump and the people who are, those independents who kind of go one way or the other. They're the ones that need to be reached. And until that happens, who is going to the Fool. We all know who that is on my deck here. And this guy, the Knight of Swords, I think this may very well become my card for EM, because that's exactly what he's doing, right? He's charging ahead and, sword first, right? Doing whatever can be done to sort of destroy, break down what's in front of him. So the Democrats need to start, they need to start playing to the strength of people's responses and reactions, right? So there was that rally outside, I think it was the Treasury Department a week or so ago. That was really powerful. That was really effective. But they need to keep on getting that message out. And yeah, there's more of them showing up on television, but they still, are kind of speaking in tones of, oh, this is not good. Oh, this is the constitutional crisis, as opposed to, jumping up on a box and screaming, these people are trying to destroy the country, right? Their messaging is not their strength, and they need to make it their strength. And in order to do that, they literally need to walk away from some of the behaviors or the messaging strategies that they have used in the past. They don't work in this environment. So that is something when you're making your daily and weekly phone calls to government officials, that you let the Democrats know, like, listen, we may be behind you and we may have voted you in, but you got to start, like, you know, getting a little bit more aggressive and a little bit more firm because as we support you and you're not influencing us. So how the hell do you think that you're going to influence other people? All right. Queen of Pentacles. It may very well be that where you're going to see people starting to react and respond to what's going on is literally when it comes to the power of the purse. People's purses, women's purses, and women just basically have more buying power, right? Because they're the ones who do that sort of week by week, month by month sort of shopping for the family, etc. When they start really, really feeling the impact, apparently the price of eggs in the United States has gone up something like 65%. It's craziness. What, like the chickens are laying gold eggs? I don't get it. What is going on there? Well, you're talking about supply chain issues. You're talking about you decimate the workforce, and that's what you have. So there is potential. I mean, 6 of Wands. There is potential for the Democrats to push ahead and actually create some justice, create some balance. And again, it very much feels like 9 of Pentacles. It very much feels like it's going to be the women with the purchasing power who are going to be the first ones to start pushing back. All right. And I mean, it's already happening, right? You've got moms on YouTubes who are screaming because all of a sudden subsidies that they depended on to raise their young children aren't there anymore or aren't going to be there. So that's where you're going to see an impact. There is still so much going on, truly, that it's coming at them so fast that the Democrats are people too, right? We don't know what to focus on first because there's so much coming at us. They don't either. So they recognize that there's too much stuff hidden. They recognize that the United States is in a tower moment. And they're starting to twig into the fact that unless they start responding with more powerful strategies and strategies that are slightly different than what they've done before, that is how they're going to be able to bring that sort of promise of sort of harnessing the insanity into fruition. They're going to have to start working together. And they're going to have to stop looking to the past. All right. I mean, that's the thing, right? They keep trying to revert to what was, how things were. They're not like that anymore. Whether they'll ever get back to that is anybody's guess at this point. But right now, looking at the past and using methods that used to work isn't helpful. Because why? Because they are facing a degree of sort of evil, right? And I think we've talked about this before. It isn't so much that there aren't areas within agencies of the government that really do need to be streamlined, where there probably is stuff going on that shouldn't be going on. But there's a difference between cleaning something out and with complete cruelty and no concern at all, just trashing people's lives, right? It is the cruelty that is creating so much of the sort of anguish and panic, right? And you can't walk into an agency and just say, okay, like 80% of you are fired, don't come back to work. that's not how things are done, but that's how they're trying to do it. And that throwing people's lives into turmoil, whether it's because all of a sudden, people, I mean, it's long been sort of the established thought that if you got the job within the government, you're probably going to be there till the day you die, right? I mean, it's a very solid place. It's a solid employer. Well, that's no longer the case. And so you have all of these people who are all of a sudden now out of a job or terrified they're going to be out of a job. What is that going to do to his unemployment rate? And what the hell are the cost of eggs going to do to his inflation rate? So the two things that, he was supposed to be amazing at, right? Bringing down inflation and creating jobs, he's decimating in the first 3 weeks. He is ultimately destroying his own record. So the Democrats have to start to recognize that this is kind of a force that they've not had to deal with. This is a whole different way of doing politics. And because of that, they need to regroup. They need to think about what's going to work, what is going to turn the light on in areas where the light is not yet shining because stuff is still, being hidden, right? And ultimately, they're going to have to kick into gear and they're going to have to start moving more quickly. And they're going to have to find a way to respond in a better way to the chaos. And again, you've got those pentacles coming up. So it really does feel like when it comes right down to it, it's going to boil down to money that allows them to finally reach the people that need to be reached, right? Whether that is because routine monthly payments are somehow delayed or slowed down or cut off. It's going to be the impact of things connected to money that are going to start opening up people's eyes. There's a recognition that what they voted for, what they thought they were going to get, is not quite what they ended up getting. And, again, lots and lots of people tried to tell them. They just chose to stick to what they believed. And so what you have now is somebody who really does think he is an emperor, okay? He really does think he's at the top of the pile. He really does think he's the most powerful person on the planet. And frankly, there's a lot of other countries who are not encouraging that belief, but certainly not discouraging, okay? The Democrats are going to have to start moving more forcefully into a space where it is not so chaotic. They need to move into a smoother kind of energy that is like rapid fire responsive to what is going on. All right. And wherever possible, they need to start trying to enforce or encourage the law, right? Because it's going to be the courts, it's going to be the court systems, and you just can't run around impeaching the judges who say something that you don't like, which is what they're going to try to do. It's time for the Democrats to really get forceful and push back against that. Final 3 cards. So we all know who the greedy king is, right? And what you have is the 5 of Wands and the 10 of Wands. You're going to see that the Democrats start putting the greedy king on the defense, where he's needing to sort of protect himself against the backlash, okay? And it's going to be hard for him to carry that load because he is so ego driven that when people aren't like absolutely loving him, he, just sort of goes into these mental meltdowns and starts to have some real, um, you know, issues. All right. You know, um, there's a kind of mental collapse, if you will, that happens. So, and I'll pull this one too because it applies also. So now you have the Eight of Swords, right? That being bound. So what you're going to eventually see is Democrats are going to figure out a way to put him on the defense. All right. Um, Try to restrict or minimize some of the damage he's doing. And in some ways, making it harder and harder and harder for the greedy king to achieve what he wants. It's going to become a harder road for him to walk down. So that's where we are right now. As I said, you know what? If you live in a blue state and you have Democratic reps, you need to be talking to them too. It's just not pushing back against what Republicans are doing. It's firing up the Democrats to do what needs to be done. And I'm not suggesting that they should resort to Republican tactics, because I don't think by and large Democrats are sort of made that way. But they do need to find new strategies. Now there's a new president, I guess, of the DNC, and that shift in energy may be exactly what is needed to really push back against what is going on, because it's doable. I mean, that's what these cards are basically saying, right? They're saying it's doable, but you have to do it. And you can't depend on doing it the way you used to, because the way you used to, you are not interesting phraseology. They're saying you are not hunting a familiar animal. You are now hunting something you haven't come across before, and you need to figure out how to limit the damage and the destruction that currently appears to be underway. And, again, I want everybody to keep in mind that it's not that what they're trying to do is so horrendous. It is the way they're doing it and the lives that they are destroying in that pursuit. Okay? Keep up your activation. Keep up doing the things that you are doing. Make those phone calls, write those letters, send those emails, whatever it is, because both parties need to know how their constituents feel. And slowly but surely, the latest poll actually just showed that Trump actually has a 53% approval rating, which is, I think, higher than he's ever had. But that's because people believe that he's going to be doing what he said he would do. I saw a really interesting interview. Somebody was interviewing, a mega person, and he said, well, I like the fact that Donald Trump does what he says he's going to do. He is a man of action. He makes these things happen. And so the person who was interviewing this gentleman simply said, what was it that Trump actually did in his last time in office that he said he was going to do? What did he actually accomplish? And this guy's face sort of went blank, and he said, well, you've kind of caught me off guard. You ask most Democrats what Biden did in his last term that he said he was going to do, and the list is long and detailed. So people are mimicking the mega philosophy that they're being fed, but they're not giving it any critical thought. All right. And that is what you're all up against, is people who think they know what they're talking about and do not, because they're simply not informed. All right. That's what I know right now. Thank you so very much for being here. I do appreciate all of the support, and I look forward to seeing you again later on this week. Questions in the comment section below. Thank you very, very much for being here. Bye-bye for now.